The call of the Hawks can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Whoo-wee, sheesh. How about that for a bounce back, folks? What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Pod at the Palace postgame live reaction show presented by SARACEN. New users download on Apple or Google Play. Sign up with the code INSIDEAR250 and earn $250 in bonuses after placing your first $25 bet. I wonder if you bet on this basketball game, if you bet on Malik Thomas, if you bet on some of these guys who balled out for the Razorbacks. Man, impressive stuff. 108-74 win for Arkansas in an SEC basketball game. Anytime you do that, it's pretty impressive. Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis here with you, by the way, to talk about this game. And it was belt to backside tonight, my friends, on a night where SEC teams were getting picked off at the buzzer left and right. It was nice to see Arkansas avoid any funny business with a blowout win over the Gamecocks, up to 13-4 on the year. 3-1 in SEC play. They might be tied for first place in the league at the end of the night here. Andrew, are you satisfied with tonight's performance for the Razorbacks?
I mean, absolutely. Listen, I'm not a nerd or a computer, so the margin of victory about what you do against a bad team really doesn't matter too much to me. You know, like I'd feel as good right now if Arkansas had won by 17 as I do right now. But this game did confirm a lot of things for me. One, Arkansas is over the Auburn game. The Auburn game, you know, while it is still a thing that we acknowledge, and frankly, it's something that we know can happen time to time with this team, it's not lingering now to where it's still affecting them. We got that out of the way about 5 minutes into the game. You could tell that was the case. And also the ceiling for this team remains very high, and they continue to have this ability, and we saw this even in the exhibitions leading up to the season, this ability to overwhelm teams and push the pace in the game to a level that other teams just are not comfortable operating at. And they kind of bait you into this fast-paced frenzy type of game that they function very well in, and opponents just kind of unravel. You know, South Carolina really fed into it a lot. This team came in leading the SEC in turnovers. They say they only turned it over 16 times, Curtis. I felt like it was 25. Arkansas had 12 steals, 8 blocks. Like, they had their hands on a lot of South Carolina passes and shots. They just completely, again, overwhelmed them on both ends of the floor. I'm really pleased, man. I picked an 84-75 win, so I'm certainly going to be okay with 108-74.
Yeah, I think I wound up taking Arkansas to cover, but it was like 11.5. I took them to win by 12 or 13. We were talking about that spread on Inside Arkansas Live today, and it's like, yeah, it's certainly doable, but this is a South Carolina team that their biggest margin of defeat so far this year was 12, and that's against a pretty good Vanderbilt team on the road. And, you know, they've hung with everyone else. They're not very good, but any team in the SEC, no matter where you're playing on what night, to beat them by 34, my goodness, that was emphatic by the Razorbacks. I'm impressed. That was good stuff there. It's not just you took care of business. Like you did so in a way that makes people feel a lot better about not necessarily what happened over the weekend, but about where this thing is headed moving forward. They responded the right way in this one. So a lot of boxes checked in the you love to see it category in this game. Hello, Nick Pringle. Great to see you, my man. Listen, I'm not saying that is what we've been waiting for the entire season from Nick Pringle, but he shows you what he's capable of doing. If he just gives that type of effort and physicality and intensity, you're really onto something. But I mean, we agree that's his best game in a Razorback uniform. Hell, maybe one of the better games of his career, but 15 points, 7 boards from him. Malik Ewan had 18 points in this basketball game. So maybe for the first time all year, your two big guys play well in the same game. Both freshmen really good. Acuff with another double-double, 18 points. 1 assist at Auburn. He has 13 and 0 turnovers in this basketball game. Malik Thomas, did he ever wind up missing a 3? No, he didn't. 5 of 5 from 3, 21 points. You can just keep going on and on and on down the list. And maybe the most impressive thing of the night was DJ Wagner catching a body out there and dunking on a poor kid. So a feel-good type of game for Arkansas, really solid performance, and they're going to have a lot of confidence going on the road to Georgia.
It was a really unselfish performance, I felt like. And by the way, that starts with Darius Acuff, who we were kind of hard on after the Auburn game with just 1 assist. And we were like, man, you're that good of a playmaker. How do you come out? How do we go into a big road game and you only have 1 assist? He had 13 assists with 0 turnovers tonight. He's the guy that's always going to set the tone for this team in a lot of ways. He set that unselfish tone. Arkansas finished with over 20 assists as a team. On defense, a lot of guys throwing themselves in harm's way, throwing themselves into passing lanes. You only make those kinds of plays if you're just consciously making the decision. And I think that's the positive reinforcement of Arkansas playing the right way on both ends and getting rewarded for it. And everyone on the team, you just listed off the list of guys that played well. That really helps your team morale. Like, obviously, when you win and everyone plays well, that's cool. But it's like when we kind of all have this game plan of, hey, we're going to lock in, we're going to play this way, and it works that well. That's a huge, confidence booster for this team. And you just going down the line. I mean, Curtis, back when you were coaching at Lindenwood, when you were talking it up, if I could tell you going into every game, hey, your team's going to do one thing really well. Maybe it's shoot the three, maybe it's defend the three, whatever. You would take that one thing and you'd be happy to have it, and you would build everything around it. Arkansas was able to shoot the ball well, rebound well, get in the passing lanes, took care of the ball well. Like, it's so crazy how many different things. And obviously it's not going to be that easy every game, but for these guys to look around and be like, we can do these things every game. We can play this style of basketball every game, and it really will lead to positive results. Like, for Cal and his coaching staff, that's got to be so easy to have that messaging. You should be like, hey, play this way all the time. We can have fun like this every game.
Yeah, that was cool. I would love for them to continue to do that, man. Yeah, so much really good stuff here for Arkansas. I'm with you, man. I thought the defensive, I mean, my goodness, if you just watch this game and watch the Auburn game and don't even look at the numbers or anything, just the level of intensity and the energy out there, so much better. They were way more active. It wasn't perfect. They've still got some things they got to figure out, and got to get a little bit better on rotation, whatever. Sure, of course. It wasn't going to be completely fixed overnight, but the amount of deflections that they got in this basketball game, a dozen steals, you mentioned it before we got on the air, a dozen steals plus 8 blocks, that's 20, plays there defensively that were just disruptive for Arkansas. South Carolina was never really able to find a rhythm. Michi Johnson had 29. I didn't even really notice him out there. Like, he was the only one who was capable of doing anything for him. And at the end of the day, you give up 74 points. And, this is not a South Carolina team that likes to fall in love with the three. You kind of forced them into doing that. They hoisted 30 of them, and they didn't hit 15. So that's a nice change of pace. We talked about how Georgia, when South Carolina played Georgia, that they really dictated the tempo. They slowed them down. They grinded it out. They played at a snail's pace, and that's how South Carolina can stay in games like this. Well, Arkansas wasn't having any of it. They controlled the tempo on their home floor, and they turned into a track meet, and they got a lead right away, and it was curtains from there, man. So really good stuff from Arkansas. I'm impressed by what we saw. I keep thinking back to like the assist to turnover issues that Arkansas had, because they've been really good in that department all year. But like the Tennessee game, they won, but it was kind of flipped. It was rough stuff against Auburn too. 27 assists and just 4 turnovers in an SEC game is crazy levels of efficiency, man.
Yeah, like, and again, South Carolina's a team that really played into that. Like, you could tell they didn't know what to do. You're not going to face teams that give it up that easily every game. And so there might be some games where you play great defense, you play with that same effort, and maybe you only come away with 10 or 12 turnovers. But if Arkansas is able to limit it to single digit range, which I know there was a point in this season where they were averaging under 10. I don't know where they're at now, but if they're able to limit the turnovers, it won't be 4 every game. But if you're having a 3 or 4 turnover edge in all these games, and we say it all the time in football, the team that wins the turnover battle is winning the game. It's a little bit, not that way in basketball, but it's like, that's a really consistent formula when you take into account Arkansas shot selection on top of it being really good. When you're taking shots that are fairly efficient, you're getting to the line a decent amount. Rebounding hasn't been a huge issue for Arkansas in a lot of these games. So it's like, you just look at the variables across the board. There's not much that Arkansas is going to kind of just have to concede to a lot of these teams. And when they're playing the way they are offensively, there are teams that are going to be able to score on them because their defense still isn't great, but it's going to be hard to beat them when they're playing the way they are offensively and not turning it over, not giving you opportunities. You just have to go bucket for bucket with them.
Yeah, that's very true, man. I'm thinking back to some of the things that I said on the pod this morning, and I think one of the things I led off with was, hey, for you folks that are expecting a 40-point win in this game, I hope you get it, but I don't think you will. Like, let's have the right type of expectations here. Well, I mean, if it wasn't for the B team coming in and coughing it up there at the very end, that's exactly what you would have had. I'm just very impressed by this performance from Arkansas.
How many dunks was it in this game? I know we talked about it early in the year. Where
we're on the same wavelength. It's because I was getting ready to bring that up. 12, a dozen dunks. I don't know who missed one, but Arkansas had a dozen dunks.
I mean, listen, there's sometimes you look at a basketball box score and there's some things that are a little bit misleading where you see a weird shot and you're like, oh, that's not really accurate. 12 dunks, that means you played a dominant brand of basketball.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dunks.
I know Ewan had several of those. Pringle had several. TB, it's crazy. Like he just had another casual, in-game little windmill there at the end. And DJ,
they were shaming him for not going between the legs.
They should have been. I mean, why not? DJ with the and I love it that he bodied their big fella too in there. That was impressive stuff. Who threw it off the backboard to Pringle?
DJ threw it off the backboard to Pringle, and he also had his own putting someone through the rim.
You just love to see it, man. You love to see it. Good stuff from Arkansas. And, you look up and it's sometimes stats can be a little bit hollow, right? Like if you just look at box scores, you go, oh, well, Arkansas was 8 of 21 from 3 in this game. They were 8 of 21 from 3 at Auburn. Two very, very different things. Just the way that they were creating those shots that was really impressive. Poor Lamont Paris, man. Do you think they're going to fly back to Columbia? Then he's going to get up in the morning and go make his Taco Bell breakfast and Starbucks run, or is he going to skip it? Because he might be sick to his stomach after that one.
That's a depressing visual. Because I mean, like they're going to get back pretty late tonight. I mean, it's not a quick flight, and then he's going to wake up at about 7 and go over to that Taco Bell and get what? Who even? I mean, I don't eat I eat Taco Bell a lot, but not for breakfast. What do you even get at breakfast for Taco Bell?
I think they've got
that pairs well with Starbucks.
Well, that I don't know. They've got like the breakfast crunch wrap thing. Because I looked at their menu the other day. I was wondering the same thing. I'm like, what's this? Does he have a Vice over there? What's going on? I don't know, man. It's crazy. Hey, we did get to see the Knox brothers lock horns a little bit. First of all, it was great to see Carter out there. I don't want to say that he was favoring it because he was moving around fine out there, but there were a couple times you could tell like, all right, yeah, it's probably still a little sore on him. But, right away he had the lob that he dunked. So he got one of those dunks. Then he blocked a dude's shot and it was like, okay, he's pretty bouncy out there. He's feeling all right. So in terms of long-term stuff, Carter's going to be fine. I thought he made some really nice defensive plays in this game. It was just good to see him out there and available. He played, how many minutes did Carter play in this game? He had 8 points, 17 minutes. So good. That's actually more than I thought he was going to play. His brother did not have a very good game in this one. I don't know what he wound up scoring. Kobe Knox. So he had 9 points, but they turned him over 4 times in the first half. Billy Richmond had that poor man in hell. I mean, he had him in hell. It was rough.
Billy played 18 minutes in the first half. He played a lot in the first half. You look at his numbers and it's, like it's just triple single or whatever. But he had like 3 steals at halftime, 2 blocks at halftime. I think maybe all of his points came in the first half. Like there was a stretch where Billy was on pace for like a quadruple double or something like that. Like I thought he was awesome early in this game, especially kind of just doing his thing, surveying and kind of playing in transition. He's perfect in a game like this, but I thought both of those guys kind of filled that role well. This actually leads me to something I wanted to ask you about, Curtis.
Yeah.
Malik Thomas and Darius Akov. I feel like we're going to move to a point where those guys play literally 37, 38 minutes a game. Like as we get closer to March, I don't know if Malik will ever start. Do you ever take Malik Thomas off the court once you put him on moving forward?
No, not right now. Not the way he's playing. I mean, he's whatever funk he was in before Christmas, man, he has snapped out of it. Yeah. He's looked great in SEC play. And, the only thing I could even critique him on through these 4 games, like, oh, well, some of the turnovers, but he was great from that standpoint tonight. He's shooting the lights out. He's way more efficient. He looks better. It looks like he can do a little bit more than just that, Andrew. He's able to get into the paint and he's got the floater game going, but I'm most impressive with him defensively. My goodness, like he just makes plays in there, gets his hands on balls all the time. He's always in the right position. He's a pretty good defender, actually. And I did not expect that to be the case when he got to campus. So good on him, man.
Yeah, he had 4 steals tonight, which will take him to, I think he'll be right around 2 steals per game after this, once the stats update and all that. 4 steals, and he had them in the first like 25 minutes. There were some times where he was so quick getting to the spot, he was already turned around completely by the time the ball got to him. Usually if you're like playing a ball in the lane, you're like getting a fingertip on it. He got there so quick. It was a chest pass to him. He's just got a knack. And I think that's him getting more comfortable of just kind of being able to take those chances, but also coming into these games prepared, kind of knowing tendencies of some of these guys. Even if you only do it twice a game, that changes the game, man. And he's starting to do that consistently. The 3 balls way more consistent. His shooting splits the last 5 or 6 games have been out of this world.
So what happened here with Nick Pringle? I love it. I absolutely love it. Even I can't remember if it was the Queens or the James Madison game. It was one of those two games where he had a pretty nice night. I think he scored 14 points or something. But still, as I was watching him, I'm just like, I don't know, man. He doesn't look like he's moving too well out there. Doesn't have that same energy. He was fired up tonight. He was explosive, getting up off the ground, soaring up for rebounds. These are all the things that we saw in the preseason that has pretty excited about what he might bring to the table. The intensity was there. The physicality was back. I hope he bottles that up. Again, like I'm not expecting anywhere near 15-7 from Nick Pringle on a regular basis, but just that type of demeanor and spirit about him, that was really good to see, man. That's a nice development for Arkansas.
Well, we were talking about Acuff kind of setting that tone. He was one of the biggest beneficiaries of Acuff's. I mean, he had 5 assists, 7 minutes into the game. I'd say 2 or 3 of them probably went to Nick Pringle. He had Arkansas's first 4 points. We always talk about that big man. You gotta kind of give him a little crumb here and there, and then they just play better. He was never on that situation like Jonas Adu last year where he wasn't able to dunk, but we were definitely questioning his health a little bit. He had that one dunk where he like pulled himself up on the rim. I thought he might get teed up because he did the weird little leg swing thing, but that's like the type of thing you only do if you're a super good athlete that wants to show off how good of an athlete you are. But 2, that was a very clear signal to me of like, I'm not unhealthy. Like I'm good now. And I don't know if maybe he was totally capable of doing that a month ago, but with the guy we saw in Dallas when they were playing Texas Tech, I don't think he would have been swinging and doing pull-ups on the rim. I just don't think he had that in him in that moment. He's starting to look a little bit more like the guy we hoped. We'll see if he can keep it up.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. And then obviously, Malik Ewan, it's crazy finally to have these guys play well together at the same time. But Ewan almost gets overshadowed because, man, we've been waiting to see that from Pringle. Ewan's been way more consistent here lately, and he's kind of been stacking some good performances. The man had 18 points in 15 minutes in this basketball game. He was getting after it. I thought he could eat in this matchup because South Carolina's interior defense, there's not much there. They don't have a whole lot of length or height really in the paint, and he feasted on those dudes. But I really liked his energy levels. He got rewarded a couple times in transition for sprinting the floor, making defensive plays, and I love seeing his guards, an Acuff or whoever, who recognize that and they get it back to him. You reward the big fellow when he's giving effort on that end. That was some pretty cool stuff there. And, 33 points out of those 2 big fellas. I'll take it, man. I'll take it every single night.
It's weird. I'm sure I think there's going to be a game this year, Curtis, where like Malik Ewan just winds up with 7 assists and people are going to be like, where did that come from? When did he become a guy? He is a good ball handler in the post, especially like relative for his position for most 5 men. But like he's pretty good with his hands anywhere around the rim. He finishes with both hands pretty well. And he just kind of has control, which a lot of big men that are big and strong and have all this stuff and are maybe more imposing physical guys, they're not as good. You just don't feel like they're in control of what they're doing. I think the people that play around you and also notice this, like the guards like throwing it to him because they know he can handle a variety of passes and they don't maybe have to be as accurate. Whereas with Pringle, you do have to kind of get it right to him. I think they have a little bit of confidence knowing they can make different passes with Ewan. And I also think they also keep moving and keep playing and think, hey, this guy can find me if I cut weird. And Trevin's also done a good job making some nice passes as well. He had a really good feed to DJ. But like, I think when those offensively skilled big men are on the floor, it just gives everyone else on the floor a little bit more confidence to play a little bit different offensively.
No doubt about it. And the big fellas are making their free throws too in this game.
Yeah.
Pringle and Ewan combined to go 7 of 8, 5 of 6 up there at the stripe from Nick Pringle. We can chalk that up to the things that you love to see. We're going to get to your chats, folks, in here just a second, but we got to give a shout out to our new partners over at the Fight House. I haven't been over there yet, but I'm looking forward to getting over there soon. It's Northwest Arkansas's #1 boxing, MMA, and strength training gym built for athletes, competitors, and anyone ready to push their limits. From high-energy boxing and MMA training to free weights, elite cardio equipment, sleds, and cross-training, Fight House Gym delivers everything you need to train at the highest level. Push your body to the edge, then recover like a pro with their cold plunges and saunas designed to keep you strong and ready for more. Whether you're a seasoned fighter or just starting your fitness journey, this is the gym that meets you where you are and pushes you further. Fight House Gym is now open at 10131 Webb Way in Fayetteville. That's exit 58 off I-49. You can sign up today at fighthousegym.com or give them a call, 951-623-9745. step inside and bring the fight. And if you're going to step in there, bring more fight than South Carolina did tonight. My goodness, man. Lamont Paris. I was never worried about Arkansas's ability to win this game, but leading up to it, like in warmups, I'm sitting there on press row. How about that?
Yeah.
But watching the warmups, and then I'm going back and forth between the Kentucky LSU game, which was stupid. Kentucky, very fortunate, obviously, to win that basketball game. Hell of a shot there at the end by Marino. It's cracking me up that they're using a mid-January, you beat an LSU team that just said they were going to fire their coach if he doesn't make the tournament this year on a buzzer beater, comparing that to Christian Laettner. But I understand the play and everything, so fine. But like they sneaked that one out of there. And then Georgia, damn it, they didn't hold up their end of the bargain. But I guess the Ole Miss win for Arkansas is aging better because they have now picked off Missouri, and then they beat Georgia at the buzzer. So you have those two results, and I'm like, is it just going to be one of those nights in the SEC where things are going to be way weirder than they need to be? And then, as it turns out, and I haven't seen if this has gone final yet, but Texas is just beating the absolute hell out of Vanderbilt. So Arkansas will be tied for first place in the SEC after the end of the night here. But just no funny business from the Razorbacks. And they're kind of the kings of funny business at times this season, and they just weren't having it in this one. So shout out to them for being able to handle their business tonight, man.
Anytime you beat a bad conference opponent, and I use bad in parentheses or quotations, whatever, the sarcastic font, it's easy to point to that and say, well, you beat a bad squad. Like you beat up on a bad team or whatever. In conference play, like you mentioned, like it's just not something you can take for granted. I mean, we weren't super confident. If you had told me Arkansas would have won this game by 2 points, I wouldn't have been stunned. I would have just been like, yeah, I mean, it's hard to win in the SEC. Maybe their pride was a little bit broken from the Auburn game, especially when you're coming off of a result as bad as it was. You just don't know what version of your team is going to show up, and you're always susceptible in this league.
Yes, you definitely are. We're going to go ahead and get into the chats here, and we'll roll through some of these. I'm seeing some of the press conference videos come up as soon as we figure out what the good ones are to play for you guys. We'll share some of those as well, but we just appreciate everybody hanging out with us. It's only 10:15. The blowout, that kind of helps the game speed up a little bit. I saw somebody right before we got started because I usually give it like a 2.5 hour window because I assume the game's going to start later than it's supposed to, and then it might take a bit.
Business.
Exactly. And somebody was like, I really don't. There's no way that they're going to wait until 10:30 to start the show. No, when it goes final, we're starting this thing, man. But seriously, shout out to everybody for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. No better way to start than right here. Lanky says, well, that was fun. It was fun out at Bud Walton Arena. And the Bud wasn't packed by any means, but I would say it was a good crowd, good atmosphere. Late night tip on a Wednesday against a not very good South Carolina team. I was wondering for a minute because it was like the student section, by the way, was packed. So shout out to them. Also shout out to them for getting the memo and booing Eli Ellis the entire game. It was hilarious, but it was like all student section all the way up in the overflow, and no one else was in the arena for the longest. And I was like, oh God, this is going to be bad, but it really did fill in nicely. And man, they had anyone who was there was treated. I don't know how much you guys paid for your tickets, but you got your money's worth tonight for sure.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the student section. I appreciate that they showed up. I mean, first game back, they're back on campus. Once you get back from Christmas, it's time to lock in on the hoops. It's time to lock in. Once the weather gets cold, you better be inside Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, those hats look good, man.
That was a big deal. Some are saying those hats saved the atmosphere.
That might be it. From Razorback, we appreciate you. Says this game was fun. I love this. We got a couple super chats right out of the gates. Well, that was fun, and this game was fun. Yes, it was. It certainly was. From a Hairless Hog coming in here, a hog of his word, says, hot take, our two most underwhelming players with the most overwhelming play of the year, DJ off the backboard to Pringle. This is a good chat.
I jokingly said right before we went live, I said, man, it's bad, for your team when you're giving up 5 for 8 from the floor from DJ Wagner. When all of a sudden he's a consistent finisher around the rim. It's tough sledding.
And DJ missed his first layup, and I just kind of
that little floater.
Put my head in my hands a little bit, and I'm like, oh man. But it was good to see him get it going. I think he wound up hitting a 3 thereafter, it was
Did.
well decided.
Went under on a screen. Can't do
Yep.
that on DJ,
You don't
man.
do that to DJ Wagner. That's very disrespectful.
If you do that, you need to be prepared for 1 in 3 of those threes to go in.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And good on DJ. He finished with, that's a solid day at the office, man. 12 points. Yeah, 5 of 8 from the field. You're right. Couple assists, no turnovers, and maybe an SC top 10. Like it.
How many steals did he have? Did he have any steals?
Let's see. DJ had 1 steal.
Dude, there was like some prop on Saracen where it was like plus 750, and it was like DJ 3 assists, 3 steals, or something like, or some version of that.
Yeah. I feel like Malik Thomas cashed a lot for folks tonight, dude.
Well, I can't speak for all of Arkansas. I can speak for one man right here. Malik Thomas helped my family a lot tonight.
Yeah,
because
I know
food on the table.
There was the make at least 4 threes thing. There was Arkansas win and he has 20 plus or whatever. I
didn't get that one.
There was one that was like make 2 threes, get 2 assists, and get 2 steals. He did that. Like cash from Malik Thomas.
There was one that was like plus 375, and it was him to have 16 points and 4 rebounds, which he got easily. I did the ladder thing with his 3-point makes. Like I got him to make 3, I got him to make 4, I got him to make 5, and I think he finished with 6 or whatever. So it's like all of them cashed. It was brilliant.
It's a beautiful thing. I love this from Lanky. He says, no misses for Leak. A cuff is him who gets the A+. I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of times where I'm conflicted, like for the report card, which will go out in the morning, because we only give out 1 A+, like to the game MVP. I'm telling you right now, I'm giving it to Nick Pringle. And because I understand how good Leak was, and A cuff, like, oh my God, 18 and 13, that's crazy. But those guys have been consistently really good all year. We ain't seen this from Nick Pringle, and we've been waiting for it. So he'll have his gold star. He's gonna have to screenshot the Pod at the Palace where I give him the MVP. He can print it off and put it on his refrigerator. Job well done by Nick Pringle, man. We appreciate you.
I like that. Well, just for the record, if I were in Curtis's shoes, and those shoes are too large for me, quite literally, and figuratively, but I would go Malik Thomas as my MVP. So that is interesting that, the number 1 post-game show in the country, both guys would not give their award to Darius Acuff, who had like a damn near flawless game.
Casual. It's
a
casual game, man. Yeah, come on, dude. Let's see here. Also from T Razorback, we appreciate you. Says just name the Freshman of the Year award after Acuff. Honestly,
yeah,
give it to him now. We were talking about how he might have a little competition for the weekly award because Ament had a nice game against A&M or whatever. Acuff has already outdone him. So it's going to come down to Saturday here. And I like Darius Acuff's odds against Georgia more than I like Ament against Kentucky, frankly. So he's probably going to win it again, man. Why not?
Hey, by the way, are you concerned about Darius Acuff saying some foul words to Cal, or does that actually make you feel better considering how well it played out?
It works, whatever motivates him. But the truth of the matter is somebody needs to be yelling at Darius Acuff about his defense. I mean, he's got to figure it out, man. And I know Cal was letting him have it. There's one time he just stood and watched, somebody grab an offensive rebound, and no, that's good. And it's a learning thing for freshmen, man, because you might be playing a great game. He might have been looking at it going, man, I got a damn double already, and you're hollering at me. We're up 30. Why are you yelling at me? Well, this is why. And if he's mad and he feels like it's wrong or whatever, you're also the point guard out there. So if it was somebody else's fault, it's your fault because you got to be the voice. So I like it, man. I'm good for it. There's times where that can be bad and body language stinks and you worry about it. I am not worried about that at all in this game, personally.
You know what it struck me as? Like, sometimes when you mess up and you messed up, but then your buddy or your father or whoever comes at you and like reminds you that you messed up and you're like, shut up, I already know. Like, I don't need you to explain that to me. That was kind of the vibe I got. But also, Cal has just had this relationship with pretty much all of his point guards, frankly. Definitely guys that played a high level for him, like, and one of whom is literally on staff, by the way, and is also giving this counsel to Acuff. They just kind of have this weird innate, you can't explain it. And it's hard for us to look at it and be like, oh, is this weird or whatever? Like, I think they have a very close relationship to where I'm not saying Cal likes him talking crazy to him, but it's like They have an understanding between each other. Muss and Devo had that, frankly. I mean, Muss and Devo would literally be like putting fists on each other's, on each other, but they also loved each other and it worked.
Yeah, remember Muss and Mason Jones?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I thought those two guys were going to fist fight sometimes, but no, it's a really good point about Cal. Like if there's any coach in the world that I'm completely unbothered by with that, it's Cal and a freshman point guard. They'll be all right.
Yeah. That's his favorite thing in the world.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Addison says 2J Wagner, disrespectful dunk. Yeah, he got him.
Although I will say, you could still go with 3J Wagner because it was a 3-point play, but DJ did not know this, and he was the last person in the arena to know that. He was like trying to get back on defense, and I think A-Cover, somebody was like, "Hey, buddy, like you that was a poster and one. Come on."
Yeah, my favorite part about that, I always love seeing the bench reactions for those, and Malik Ewan, he's just we know he's kind of a casual guy, right? And he'll always clap or whatever, but I very rarely see him come to his feet, when he's on the bench. And it's not bad body language or anything. He's just a chill dude. He jumped up, man. Like Malik Ewan loved that from DJ Wagner, and it was good, man. Hell of a play. Kind of shades of, and it was about almost a year ago on the dot where, remember when DJ just randomly drove the lane and had that crazy dunk on Florida? They were trying to mount a comeback late. They wound up losing anyway, but we were like, good Lord, where's that been? It was sort of like that. He's put on that kid's head, man. Good stuff. Let's see. We've got B. Walter, appreciate you. Says, nice to give the ass whoop in this game. Brazil's post game is soft. Nick was nice tonight. Yeah, Brazil's not a post though. You know what I mean? Like he's not a back to basket guy. But I like that the same dude that actually got put in the rim by DJ, Trevin, noticed he had that matchup at one point. He had it like at the high post, and he took 3 dribbles back and he drew that dude out, and then he just drove right by him and went and got the and one. It's like, okay, I might not be able to body this dude, but I can just go right by him and get a bucket. So it was good.
He really only had that one weird post up where he ended up settling for like a fadeaway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm good. I don't really need to see much of the post work. Yeah, just go right at the rim where they're soft.
Yeah, no, exactly. Let's see. Yeah, T Razorback says draft Twitter has A-Cuff fall in the second round after this. Probably. We'll hear something about it. What was that? The one dude that said he's got the most overrated or the most fraudulent assist rate in history or something. We're like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Especially like for something that's a rate. Like that's like something where it's like, that's just how many times do your passes lead to points?
Right.
I guess he just thinks like Arkansas's. I don't know. I really don't know how you come to that conclusion without just being a moron.
Yeah, I don't know either. We'll continue to get into your chats. Actually, we'll take a look at a couple of these quotes that we've got from John Calipari. But first, another shout out to our post-game sponsors over at OZK Insurance. They're spicing it up here in 2026. It's an independent agency that's juiced things up with the app. Look at that. Brand new fancy graphic and everything, man. It looks good. With the OZK Insurance app, you can see all your policies under one roof. That's home, auto, whatever it is you might have. You can pay your bills. You can get roadside assistance, file your claims, request policy changes. You can even get new quotes all right there from the convenience of your phone. So you're going to get the best part of an independent agent, and that's choice and flexibility. Dealing with real people, it's always a good thing. You're also going to get the convenience of modern technology. If you're tired of being stuck with one carrier or chasing down paperwork, go to ozkinsurance.com or search OZK Insurance in the App Store or Google Play. It's a local agency with national level options, one powerful app. That's OZK Insurance. Looks good, man. I like the way that looks. Let's see. What videos do we need to play here? We got something about Julius Randle that John has said we need to check out. I'm sure this is going to be good. Let's check it out.
It's amazing. I've had more people tell me I love your team. Today, Julius Randle texted me and said, I really love your team. I said, did you watch the last game? He said, it doesn't matter. Different people are calling me about this group and saying you have a lot of pieces. And what you got to do is there are games where you just got to find 5 guys. Like, we're not doing this, but these 5 are. But we hit a game where we couldn't even find 5. I was looking for 5. We couldn't find 5. And I even told Lamont after, I said, What you just did here, we did at Auburn. It's the same thing. You kind of let go of the rope. We did the same.
Damn.
But they're a good team. I mean, I've watched them on tape. They either won the game or had a chance to win every game they played. We have
Right.
been the same with top 10 opponents, and then we hit Auburn. So hopefully we learned our lesson. We don't want to feel the way we felt after that game.
Okay. That's good stuff, actually. And I love that from Julius Randle, you know. It's a nice little shot. I saw a thing on Twitter about Julius Randle and his wife bought 60 acres of land or something. They're getting ready to build a big homestead or something.
Like that. I hope he has a nice little man cave where he can watch, you know, his former coach go to work.
Yeah, why
win a
not,
natty.
man?
I
Exactly.
also hope that Cal continues this bit of name dropping people that tell him that Arkansas's got a chance. Like when it gets to NCAA tournament time and we're sitting there and he'll just be like, yeah, I just got a call the other day from Devin Booker. Malik Thomas, he sees a lot of himself in him. You know, like I really hope this is a great, I mean, every Cal name drop works.
Yes. Were you moved at all by the lineup change? I mean, we know why it happened. You know, Carter didn't practice much leading up to this game. They just insert Billy into the lineup. Arkansas gets off to a better start than it normally does. South Carolina also not great. I mean, would you just go back to Carter the next game? Do you stick with it with Billy? What did you think about that? I mean, everything they did tonight worked, but
I wasn't moved, but only because I don't really care. Like with that specific spot, like I think Carter and Billy, you're going to need both. One can start, one can play the bench. I think they're going to play about the same amount of minutes regardless. You know, like I don't think it's going to affect anything there. Frankly, when we were all calling for a starting lineup change, it wasn't that spot that we were like sad about necessarily.
No, it was not.
And so from that standpoint, and again, the spot that they left in, he was perfectly fine.
And now
I think it's more of a correlation doesn't equal causation thing.
Yeah.
Like I don't think this change made Arkansas play awesome tonight. I think it happened, and I'm not going to lose too much sleep either way, mostly because I like going back to the Acuff Thomas thing. I just think those are the guys that are going to play 40 minutes, and I think Carter and Billy, there will be matchups where they both also play high minutes like that, but I think their spot, it's like kind of they're going to combine to make one really good player.
Yeah, I like that. I guess I'll shut up about getting Nick Pringle out of the lineup for at least 3 days. So at least 3 days.
Exactly.
We've earned that there. But I tell you what, and that starting group looked fine. I thought, and they were able to do this because the matchups were able to dictate it some, but they had the 3-guard lineup a little bit with Acuff and Leak and DJ. I thought it looked pretty good. Anytime you got those 3 guys, you wonder like, all right, there's one basketball. What is this going to look like? I thought it looked really solid, but I love the lineup. I don't care if they start. I just want them to be on the floor together quite a bit of Darius Acuff, Malik Thomas, Billy Richmond, Trevin Brazile, Malik Ewan. I love that lineup, man. And they looked really good when they were in there tonight. So was fun to see. Okay. A couple other clips here from Cal, and then we'll get back to your chats and we'll wrap it up for the night. I do want to hear what he had to say about Nick Pringle, and then we got one more that I want to share. But yeah, shout out to Nick. And Cal, I don't know if anybody listened to his radio show Monday night, but he had a lot of love for Nick Pringle. I mean, we all know that he's been struggling out there. He would be the first to admit that himself, probably. But Cal consistently talks about how good he is for the team, and a chemistry guy, and he's a joy to coach and all this. And he even outright acknowledged publicly, like, hey, I'm trying to give Malik Ewan more of his minutes. He said that out loud. He was like, but Nick understands that, and he's handling it well. So to see him have that kind of performance and be a good teammate, that's a good thing. So let's see what Cal had to say.
We wanted the court more spaced so we could throw some stuff over the top. So
just when I start a clip about Nick Pringle and I hear Cal says we want the floor more space, I'm like, where is this headed? But I just want to stop it real quick. They did have great spacing tonight, and middle pick and roll was wide open for Arkansas. That's how Nick got most of his points, middle pick and roll, and it was either a dunk or he got the catch in there and they fouled him. So anyway.
If they collapsed, we had good spacing, and that's what we worked on for 2 days. So we start the game, and I was so proud of Nick. We were at my house, which is what we do before home games, and having dinner at my house, and I grabbed him, and I said, I haven't asked you, you okay? Like, yeah, I'm fine. And he was fine. Made free throws, dunks, blocked balls, rebounded. I mean, he was really good, really good. But Malik didn't guard like him. Like, you couldn't go by Nick. You tried to drive, he stopped you. Malik still opens the gate. You drive, he opens the gate. You drive, he opens the gate. But he's getting better. But he did some great stuff, rebounding, scoring. He gives you one more guy. Now my job is to get his motor hotter. Got to get his motor hot. And, you know, but they both did well. TB did well.
Thanks for throwing TV into that. But yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe he was just coming from a standpoint of like, hey, we're going to start this lineup with Pringle and Richmond. So you guys on the perimeter better have, y'all better be in the right spots, or else we're going to run into some problems. I guess that makes sense. And yeah, love to hear the good stuff about Nick. And I also love like the casual, you just give him your opportunity. Hey, if there's anything bothering you, I'm letting you know, you can say it right now. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'll be all right.
Yeah. Are you okay? Do you need to talk?
Hey, why are you playing bad basketball?
Yeah. As we're breaking bread in the Calipari household, just lay down on the couch. Tell me how you feel. It's good stuff, man. All right. Last clip that I want to play here from Cal. Just talking about, it sounds like showing a little bit of fight after that Auburn game where, they didn't do that. So here we go.
When the other team is playing harder than you to start the game and you have to catch up, it wears you down. So at some point you're going to let go of the rope. That's what happened to us last game. Kind of happened to them this game. The second piece of that, when you're behind the action, you're reacting slower also. And they're reacting faster because they're playing harder. They were more desperate. We were just playing basketball. They were fighting for their lives. So now that's when I think we had 14 turnovers in that game. So, but Auburn's good. Did they win tonight?
No.
All right, I'm out before
He was totally about to go on a spiel and be like, I'm telling you, Auburn might win the league. Auburn's going to be in the top, whatever.
Hey, we gotta play that on Inside Arkansas Live tomorrow for Quinn, man. You guys have pissed off Cal.
That is so funny, dude. Oh my God. He was 1,000% going to follow up with, see, Auburn's good. I'm telling you.
I'm so glad
openly like that sucks.
Great job, John. That was good. That was real good.
That was my exact reaction to watching that Kentucky jumper go in.
Yeah. I know.
I was like, ooh. Wow, yeah. They actually Christian Leitnered that shit, man.
Unreal. I guess after the game, Moreno said that it wasn't even his play, but that whoever threw the inbounds like overthrew it. It's like it wasn't even supposed to go to me. It just did. It went right over the hands of the LSU guy. Hell of a shot by the young man.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use the term I was about to just use, but Mark Pope was having a conversation, I think, with Moreno, like right before they went out there. And I remember noticing that. And so I honestly came out of it being like, damn, that's just how they drew it up.
Oh, goodness gracious, dude. Back to the chat. Sharkensaw says sometimes you just need a pity pipe.
I mean, listen, you know what this game kind of reminds me of in a weird way, and it's not the same context, but you remember when Eric Musselman went to that power forward only lineup that had like JD Note and 4 power forwards, and they played Missouri, and Missouri stunk. This wasn't a good Missouri team, but they beat them like 90-40 or something like preposterous like that. And this was an Arkansas team that was really struggling. Like that was their first SEC win, first like win that kickstarted the whole thing, which wound up being an Elite Eight team. This wasn't the same context where Arkansas like needed a win or whatever, but it was just one of those games where you're like, I know this is a bad team, but they probably would have beat anybody the way they played tonight. And I really think like it wouldn't have been that lopsided. I don't think many people were beating Arkansas tonight, frankly.
Yeah, they looked phenomenal tonight. I just want to check real quick to make sure nothing crazy happened. I guess it would have been easier for me to just check the chat. Yeah, 80-64
on
Texas beat Vandy.
Hey, Moody Center, man, bro. That's a hostile environment.
I started this from a Jaded Sports fan. He's like, Curtis jinxed it. You said Texas is the easiest place in the SEC to win. They are. That is the. Yeah. I promise you, it is easier to win at the Moody Center than it is to go win at the PMAC at LSU or the Colonial at South Carolina. It's the damnedest thing. They lost like 8 games. at the Moody Center last year, and they wound up being a tournament team. It doesn't make any sense over there, but they busted up. Now
Josh Hubbard just beat them there, and Mississippi State, by the way, they suck.
Yeah, they're bad too. And now, and Texas, at the end of non-conference play, I kind of looked at it and I said, you know what? South Carolina, Ole Miss to a degree, Mississippi State, and Texas look like the worst 4 teams in the league to me. And then, Texas goes on the road and they beat Alabama, and then they beat the hell out of Vanderbilt. I don't know who they play Saturday. If they win, they'll be ranked.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I mean, beating Alabama and beating Vanderbilt, that's about as impressive. Now, they weren't back-to-back. Was there a game in between, or was it back-to-back?
They were back-to-back. Yeah.
That's as good of a 2-game stretch as you can literally have. I mean, we had them 1-2 in our power rankings both weeks, I think, to start. That's crazy.
And and we were talking about, well, maybe Arkansas can take care of business, and then, you get the battle of 3-1s at Georgia, and then you can get undefeated Vanderbilt in Bud Walton Arena. Neither of those things are going to happen now.
Vanderbilt will have 3 losses by the time they go.
Yeah, because they will probably lose to Florida Saturday. Yeah. So, goodness gracious, man. Exclusive Carts, we appreciate you, says, I like DJ was driving to the basket hard, and they were falling for him at the end. Good for him to see that, and maybe he'll turn the corner. I'm with you. I kind of noted that in the pregame of this is a South Carolina team that doesn't block any shots, and their tallest actual post player out there is 6'8" or whatever, and they're not a super above the rim team. It just felt like a game where if I'm DJ, I'm giving it my best shot going to the rim. I'm trying to break myself out of this slump, and he didn't go crazy, but it was good to see him get some of those rolls, man, because there's been times here the last few weeks where I've legitimately thought, does this dude have the layup yips? Have you ever had those dreams where you're trying to make a basket and you just miss 8 layups in a row and you're like, what the hell? I don't understand. I feel like DJ was living that in reality. And so, yes, it was very nice to see him get some go down. And now we know the secret for DJ. Just dunk it. Just dunk it.
Just put him through the rim, buddy. You're an above the rim guy now.
Yeah, exactly. T Razorback says, yeah, I know. No undefeated Vandy in Bud. That's a bummer. I really hope that they beat Florida, because if they can, it would almost erase a little bit the loss to Texas there, and they'd still be a top 15 team or whatever. And Arkansas is going to take care of business on Saturday. That's not going to be an easy game on the road at Georgia. I realized that they just struggled with South Carolina and they just lost to Ole Miss. But they're a team, especially playing at home. I know they just lost at home, but they can get hot. They can really score it, and you got to take care of the basketball. They're going to press you the whole game. So a big challenge for Arkansas, but damn it, man, if they're able to get through that one, there'll be a top 15 showdown at Bud with Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
that's what we thought we would say.
And if Vanderbilt beats Florida, it would also, even if they lose to Florida, but if they beat them, that also becomes your biggest resume win, because Vanderbilt's top 5, top 10 in everything right now.
All the metrics, yeah.
They're top 5 in the WAR. They're top 5 in the expected batting average. They're top 5 in all of it, dude. The Pythagorean theorem, they love them. And that's if you beat them at home, even if they're coming off of 2 losses, they're still way better. The Louisville game, which we thought was going to be this awesome home loss, Vanderbilt would then replace it as the best game.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I want to check real quick and see if anything cool. Oh, yeah, Arkansas is up several spots over at KenPom, because they were somewhere between 28 and 30. I can't remember which one because I get that one and Torrent mixed up, but they're up to 24. Arkansas is. Check this out, Andrew. First of all, they moved up several spots in defensive efficiency. They're up to 66 now, and they were down.
Wow, they were 70 something, 74.
They were down there. Arkansas has the number 6 offensive efficiency in the country. 6.
Dude, there was somebody the other day, we were talking and we said that Arkansas had an elite offense, and they hit us with how are they elite? They're only 17th in offensive efficiency. And it's one, that's, one of the top 20 in the country. But it's we didn't have any numbers to back it up, but it's they just feel like they're one of the best offensive teams in America, and their rating, their efficiency has gone up in SEC play because you're playing quote unquote better defenses and you're still scoring 100.
Right. The offense is rated ahead of Arkansas in the country. Purdue is at number 1. That's because they got Braden Smith and he gets 18 assists a game.
Yeah.
Alabama at 2 tracks.
Who's worse than Arkansas defensively, by the way?
Yes, they're 73rd in defense. Arkansas at 66 now. Illinois at 3rd. So shout out to Big Z and his bro. Arizona, we know how good they are. They're undefeated at 4. Gonzaga at 5. Then Arkansas. Arkansas's offense is rated ahead of Michigan.
Wow, that's really. I mean, obviously it's early and it's not the full picture or whatever, but that tells you a little bit about the ceiling because I've said this on the program. I've said it 1,000 times. Like, you basically have to have a top 10 offense to win the national title. There's never a team that's just like, oh, you're 38th in offensive efficiency, but you win. Like, that just doesn't happen in college basketball, which is weird because you would think it would in a single elimination format.
Man, oh man, that's impressive stuff. Stephen Limley says first conference game he's been to. Had to go by myself because my friend had to work, but I still had a blast. Well, hey, you were in there with I'm sometimes I'm bad at these estimations. 13, 14,000 of your best friends. Like, it was a solid crowd. Nowhere near full capacity, but I will say some of the times we were irritated during non-conference play because it's a light crowd. People are like, well, it's always like that. And it's not. Like, it was several thousand fewer butts in seats than normal. This I felt like tracked a lot closer to what we've typically seen from a midweek SEC game against an opponent like South Carolina, frankly. Like, if it was, well, for example, wait until Vanderbilt comes here next week and it's going to be a madhouse. Okay. This South Carolina game, not so much. When LSU comes to town, not so much. That's just the way that it is. But no, it was a solid crowd and a good atmosphere. And I'm glad you had a good time, man. It's awesome.
For sure.
From Bo, he says, as Cal would say, Pringle told on himself. He did, didn't he? Nick Pringle, SEC Nick. He told on himself. How about that? T Razorback says, Acuff, Leak, Knox, Trevin, Ewan, best offensive lineup since. And that's a great offensive lineup.
I mean, you had to go back to probably pre my birth, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that's a fun group, and that's why I like having Billy in that lineup for balance, right? Because he gives you a little bit more there defensively. But yeah, to your point about the offensive lineup, that's a tough one, man. I mean, you have 4 dudes who are plus 3-point shooters. And then think about the space that opens up for Malik Ewan. I mean, that's why they're 6th in the country in offensive efficiency right now, which I want to look up real quick. The 3-point shooting numbers for Arkansas now that they're updated, because some of these guys. All right, so as we stand here today, which Acuff is still, he's 41.8%. He's 38 of 91. Remember holiday break, like pre-SEC player, we were going, yeah, but Malik Thomas, he's a volume guy. It's going to be a little bit lower, but he's got to be better than 32%, right? The man is shooting 40.5% from 3 on that volume. He's 45 of 111. He is letting it eat, man. Wow.
That's hard to do, man. And also, it's like with the volume that he's shooting it at, it's like you're going to get the real number,
Yes.
And so it's like if he really had just shot 33% from 3, I'd have been like, wow, that's surprising.
Yeah, that's tough. Sharkensaw says, I would like us to cheat the passing lanes and backside strips less. We give up so many buckets on broken plays. Yeah,
for sure.
I agree. But there's certainly a balance there. And I agree with you, like less about that, because it does feel like 9 times out of 10 when Arkansas gambles and they don't get it, they're giving up a bucket. And that's because they're a little bit slow to react or casual with their rotations and their scrambles. That's the main area I feel like they've got to get better at. But they're also not good enough playing defense straight up to just not do it. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna have to try to create a little bit of chaos there. But I'm with you. Yeah, too many of that stuff. I found myself getting irritated at times with that during the game, and then I look up and I'm like, okay, they're up 25. They've already gotten 8 steals, and I need to relax. But you're right, Arkansas. You're right.
Tonight is just the only night that it's tough to do that because they had so many steals. But we talked about this on the Inside Arkansas Live today, where we were like, maybe there is a way you can limit that a little.
Exactly. When are they scrimmaging? Friday, Andrew.
So we won't know the exact time until the day of. That's just how they roll. But it'll be in the afternoon. I always tell people it's like anywhere from 2:30 to 3:30. That's about when. And then sometimes they start the practice and then they don't really scrimmage. But it's like they'll be starting BP and then scrimmaging right after around 2:33, and then maybe scrimmage 3:30, but around that time.
Will we get a Gackle inning?
I don't know. He weirdly enough today Gabe Gackle never texts back ever, but he texted me today, and I was like, "While I have you, are you throwing this weekend?" And he didn't respond. Like,
oh, come on, man!
Try to sneak one in there.
I like it. Jaded Sports Fan, appreciate you. I've been seeing Jaded Sports Fan quite a bit in the chat. I like it. Says great get right dub. Agreed. At Georgia Saturday will be a battle. Also agreed. Yeah, it's gonna be a tough game. Playing another road game against a team coming off a buzzer beater loss at home. I know.
Brutal loss from Georgia. They were in control for like the entire game, and then they just, I don't know. They were up 4 with like a minute left. I really don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I don't either, because that was all unfolding as Arkansas's game was starting. Because I was flipping back and forth through all of them. Then when Arkansas started, I shut it down, and so I don't know. I want to go back and look at that, but yeah, that is irritating. This just keeps happening for whatever reason. And but here's what I do know. Regardless of how in their feelings Georgia is about this game, going there and playing is not like going to Auburn and playing. And I'm not saying anything about their home court and everything. Like, I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere and stuff, but it's a little bit different. And I just cannot imagine a world where Arkansas is not super highly motivated and shows up to play for this game, because they just didn't against Auburn. So I think we're going to get a much better showing from the Hogs. Doesn't mean they'll win, but if they no show in that one, I'm going to be baffled.
Atmosphere's less stiff. I think Georgia is slightly less talented than Auburn too.
Agreed. And I know they beat Auburn, but
sure. But I think
Missouri today, it's,
like, I think Georgia has a lower ceiling than Auburn. Like, Auburn played pretty close to their ceiling against Arkansas. I don't think Georgia has that ability to like blow Arkansas out. And I also think the fact that I know Georgia's coming off a loss, so you're getting a tentative version of them, but it's like Arkansas just went on the road the other day and got humiliated. That plays into it as well, where it's like, is that going to happen twice in a row?
Right. And, Arkansas has to travel, and it's the short turnaround on a Wednesday. Last week, Auburn had the extra day of rest because they played on Tuesday. So you've got that. And was it a double overtime?
Yes. No, wait.
Or just one?
I can't remember. Yesterday was double overtime. I can't remember if Georgia was.
It was, I think just one.
Yeah,
maybe.
Just one. 97-95. The overtime period was 10-8. They had that one last night that was 4-4. I love that.
That's crazy, man. I'm trying to see who scored for Ole Miss in this game. AJ Storr had 27.
AJ Storr balled in this game.
Yeah.
What, he had 27?
Yeah, the Wilkerson kid for Georgia had 32. Dang.
He
good. Played 40 minutes. He is good. Sheesh.
Blue Cane wasn't cooking?
Blue Cane. What did my man Blue Cane do in this one? He had 3 points. He was 0 of 7 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3.
Oh, wow. Very much not cooking. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, I see people in the chat pointed out LSU, it's kind of getting buried in this whole thing. LSU gets a rebound with 1.6 seconds left on the clock, up 1, and then gets fouled and then loses that game. That is brutal.
That's just like it. I mean, it's saved Kentucky's season. Now, and by saved Kentucky's season, I mean, had they lost that game, it would have been toxic at levels we can't even comprehend over there. So, hey, you live to fight another day, and is that like going to galvanize them? I don't know. That was a bad LSU team playing without their best player, and they needed that to beat them. So they got a lot to figure out, but had they lost, they'd have been screwed. Well, with McMahon, it's crazy that the AD is like, yo, it's turning time, or we might have to reevaluate some things here, brother. And then they were up big most of that game. They
16.
were in control the whole time. And then to lose like that, it's not pretty for McMahon, dude. That's rough.
I mean, so LSU would have to literally go like 10-4 or 11-3, something crazy down the stretch.
0-4.
So they'd really have to go 10-5 at least to make the tournament, most likely.
Mm-hmm. And they're just not going to do that. No, he's out of there, man. It's crazy. You think they'll take?
That's like being like, if the sun comes up tomorrow, we're going to reevaluate the situation. It's like, well, you might as well go ahead and start talking.
I mean, honestly, do you think they'll bring Will Wade back?
I think Will Wade, he'll be motivated for year 2 because I think NC State, he's not thrilled with his team this year.
Yeah, I can see that. Derek Tips says, is Leak going to steal one Freshman of the Week honor? Just
might
one,
be the week.
maybe. This might be his week.
I mean, he stole Andrew Ellis's MVP. He didn't steal your MVP.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Oh, I can't wait. There's going to be so many people in the comments mad from the report card. Yeah. It's like,
Like, who cares, bro? When you win by 50, we just pin the tail on the donkey. Come on.
Exactly. That's exactly right. From Cannon, he says, DJ Wagner, dunk of the year.
He had dunk and assist of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man. DJ Wagner, big part of the highlight package for this basketball game. How about it? That was pretty impressive. I got to check out SC Top 10. If anybody's seen it so far, if it's a thing yet, let me know if DJ got on that. Something from this Razorback game has to. They had a dozen dunks. Mm-hmm. Something has to be there. I mean, come on. Well, also, real quick, we got to give another shout out. Blue Ember Smokehouse, by the way, rumor has it. I don't know if John has shared this information with you yet, Andrew. Not the next one we do, but the early March, the first Wednesday in March. It might just be me and you, man. It might just be me and you out at Blue Ember. Stay tuned. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Because John's leaving the country.
Yeah, he's out of here, man. We're getting rid of him, and it's a coup, you know. No, just kidding. But we'll see what that looks like. We're excited to get back over there. We might need to start doing it once a week because I don't know if I can wait until the first Wednesday in February to get out there. It's really, really good. Newsflash. Barbecue. It doesn't stink. What I like about Blue Ember, you can see it right there. You go up there and order, and they cut it. They slice it up right in front of you. It's not like they're going to the back and getting the leftovers from a week ago or something. It's some transparency that you appreciate when you're looking for good food. They've got locations all over the state of Arkansas: Fort Smith, Jonesboro, Texarkana, Little Rock, Hot Springs, and Rogers. Make sure you check out your local location. And hey, they cater for you too. So if you've got weddings or parties or business meetings, anything where a lot of people want to be fed some amazing barbecue, Blue Ember has you covered. You see the numbers for all those locations right there on your screen. You can also check out their website, www.blueembersmokehouse.com. All righty. A few more chats, and then we'll wrap it up here. Again, appreciate everybody for kicking it with us tonight. We've got Joe Anderson. He says, below average shooting night, and we win by 40. Nitpick. Ewan's turnovers hurt more than anybody else because he resorts to November Ewan and jogs back.
So I will say, Joe has already backtracked because they got after him in the chat where they were like, below average shooting night. What are you talking about?
Joe? Man.
He did kind of, change his wording a little bit where he was like, he said, if you had told me Arkansas was going to win by 40, he would have expected a ton of threes, and they only hit 8,
I got you.
Which makes sense. And so,
yeah,
point taken. I felt that's an important clarification. They were on his ass in the chat.
To the point on Ewan, though, he does do that sometimes with if he turns it over, he'll run back, but he's always pointing ahead to one of his teammates like, yo, get my man. And he doesn't sprint all the way back into the play. Arkansas gives up a lot of transition layups in that fashion. So that is true, the Ewan part. But yeah, Arkansas shot it well tonight for sure. Only 17 FTA. It's unbelievable. You only get to the line 17 times in this game. What the hell's going on here? It's crazy. Got to be better. Walla Walla Hog says, Curtis, explain the SEC to me. Oh, I can explain it to you in one word: mid. It's not what it was last year, man. There's a lot of very solid teams in this league, but there's a lot of parity. Like there's no Floridas of last year in the SEC this season, or Auburns of last year, frankly, or Tennessee's. They were really good last year, but so many teams in the SEC a season ago had a ton of continuity, and they returned a bunch of guys who had been in the program for 2 or 3 years. And it was really Arkansas and Kentucky that were the exceptions that had like brand new flipped rosters. And so it took them a while. This year, it's a little bit different to where Arkansas's got quite a bit coming back. Florida from, in their front court, they've got some guys coming back. But a lot of these schools that have been so dominant in recent years, they've got flipped rosters. Tennessee, it's a brand new roster. Did you recognize any of those guys? Not really. So they're in that situation. Auburn, they've got one guy back off of that team last year. So, if you look at the top of the league right now, you see Arkansas, who's got their 4 back from the Sweet 16. You see Florida, who's got their entire front court, and they're figuring it out now that we're in league play. And Vanderbilt, who's got Tyler Tanner and Tyler Nickel and McLaughlin. So it's the teams who have a little bit more continuity that are playing well right now. And it's just crazy. So I'm right in saying that there's no undefeateds left. It's Arkansas, Vanderbilt, and Texas A&M at 3-1, I think. Maybe Missouri
and Florida, right?
Oh yeah, Florida. Okay, so there's a handful of teams in at 3-1,
and some of those teams suck.
Yes, yeah,
which is crazy.
And then LSU is the only team that hasn't won a game so far. So who the hell knows, man? It's gonna be wild.
It's also just never not jarring to check scores every single night, and you just see so many. I mean, the Ole Miss game. Ole Miss scored 97 points tonight. It's unbelievable. Missouri scores 84. It's rare that there's an SEC basketball game and one team doesn't score 80 plus.
Yeah.
Like, you used to be able to look around the league, and also there were even like the times when Cal was dominating what was a weak SEC. You just check and there'd be like a 65-58 game in Starkville. Those games really don't exist anymore. It's rare. Kentucky LSU was as close as you'll get, 74-75.
Yeah, wow. That's crazy.
That was the lowest scoring game of the week.
Yep. Goodness gracious. Pigment says he's feeling so positive. He had the Hogs minus 19.5.
This is a big night for the alternate spread guys. It's an infinite money glitch. If you know your team is about to blow someone out and the spread is anything below 30, just
right.
Hammer those alternate lines. That's good stuff right there.
Man. All right. I think we made it through, Andrew.
We did make it through. Well, I know this is the part where you asked me for my final thoughts, so I'm just going to tell you, I don't really have final thoughts, but I will say I want to live in this moment for it's one of those nights where you just don't want to go to bed. I don't want to go to bed and then to start a new day. I'm going to take, I'm not going to take this for granted because like we said at the top, it's hard to win in the SEC. Even though the SEC's mid this year, you just look around the conference, it's easy to mess around, easy to slip on that banana peel. I appreciate Arkansas not only not doing that, but really showing us something, showing us that they're still in there and they still have this really high ceiling and they have this on-off switch, so to speak. If you're going to play that way and kind of have that mentality, you better be able to turn it on when you need to. They turn it on when they needed to, and what many were calling a can't lose, not a must win.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, blowout win for the Razorbacks. You love to see it. My favorite thing when we've got these midweek late tip-offs, showing my age, my old manness here a little bit, but sometimes it's tough with their report card after this. If it's a loss, if it's a super tight game, it's like, all right, I'm really gonna dive into my notes and I'm gonna be able to really dive in and justify every single grade that I give. And on a night like tonight, I'm gonna change the background. I'm gonna hit start, and we're just gonna riff, and it's gonna be the best content ever, man. I can't wait for it. But appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. And hanging out with us as always. If you're listening in, you're not subscribed to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel, click that button while you're here and hang out with us a little bit. Turn those notifications on. I'm sure Arkansas football will add somebody else out of the portal at some point, right? What are we waiting on? What the heck is going on here? No, seriously, it's been a lot of fun, and we appreciate you guys. As always, for Andrew Ellis, it's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas and the Pot the Palace. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Take care.